How do you connect with another person? How do we connect with those pesky little prospects and customers? How do we keep them talking? How do we talk about what they care about? That's the topic today. And I'm finding like there's a common theme among degrees meaning college degrees in sales, and that psychology seems to be one of the most popular. I guess that curiosity and how our little minds work applies to sales. That makes sense, doesn't it? But the problem with a psychology degree is to make any real money at it, you have to get an advanced degree and you get to listen to everyone's problems all day. Not very optimistic now, am I? Let's get into this interview. Make sure you're checking out our friends over at CoVideo. Video email is one of those game changers in selling now. Video is everywhere. People are visual creatures. They want to see you. They want to see them. They want to see their product, your product. They want to see how it works. It's one of the ways of opening up that bandwidth of communication that we all need today. So go check out CoVideo at covideo.com. Also, listen to the very end. I want to update everybody on how the courses are going. And if you want a systematic way of getting away from cold calling and spamming and social stalking people and learn how to build an organic conversation in a step-by-step systematic way, oh, Brian, it's a utopia. Listen to the very end. I'll fill you in on what's going on. Here we go. Hey, girl, and welcome to the show. As a way of getting started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Brian. Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Gerlin, pronounced like girl, Lynn. So very easy. I am very happy to be here, firstly, and honored. And as far as about me, a little bit, a couple of years I've been in sales, about 4 years now, started in business development for a manufacturing company. And now I am an account manager in a SaaS company, which we have a chat-based software. And basically, the purpose of that is to make your conversations easier from brands to consumers. So that's been intriguing as well. Also, I have a background in psychology, recently completed my MBA, and very happy to be a part of the sales community as we know it and be here to contribute to it.
And what got you into sales?
Yes, I think as many people, we have an interesting maybe fall into sales. And for me, I am no different. It wasn't part of the plan initially with the psych background. I thought I would have been doing more counseling, and it just was not the best fit for me. And I realized that. And I'll connect later how it's still useful. However, I ended up working in customer service, really got familiar with working with clients and customers, and kind of naturally started to do some selling. And then from there, I realized that, and from feedback, that I actually have a knack for being able to sell. And I think what was difficult about doing that transition was the fact that you have the archetype of sleazy salesman, right? So you don't want to get into it. You are worried about being a certain way, but just through seeing other people in the community and they're authentic and real, I was able to see that, you know what, this is actually a great thing to be a part of and nothing to be ashamed of. So that's how I pretty much got in.
I mean, especially in B2B, you really don't see sleazy. Not for long.
No, you don't. No, not for long. Not at all. If you get around the right people, you should see it properly. But I think where it might get dicey is maybe amongst teams. You know, some of the personality types can be interesting, and it could be cutthroat in some senses.
Yeah, I mean, a little competition's ethical competition's good.
That touche. That is the point. A little gamification doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and help us with the psychology. How did it help you in sales?
Yeah. So my interest in psychology is because I've always been a lover of people. I definitely scale high on extroversion, and in appreciating learning about people, I always want to know what's the reason behind certain behaviors and why they do certain things. So when I pursued psychology is with complete genuine interest altruistically to help others. And translating that into sales, it's really the same. And honestly, you are doing some counseling here and there with clients. And sometimes you get to be the real trusted advisor if your relationship truly gets to grow and they feel comfortable disclosing certain things. So I would say from the psychology standpoint, it's allowed me to be more understanding, empathetic, hone in on my listening with my clients. And most will say about me that I'm fairly easy to talk to. And I take that very in high regard, to be easy to talk to, even if that's regarding business.
Yeah. And what didn't you like it? Did you find it was a downer? People would come in that they would bring you down instead of you trying to bring them up?
Yeah, there's a couple things to that. I think when I got to the point of potentially having to deal with the severity of some extreme issues
Right.
and also, prescriptions may be involved and things like that. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can actually contribute in that space. And that's where I backpedaled. Of course, I appreciate all the professionals that do it. It's very much needed. I just know for me, I wasn't able to continue.
Yeah. And the choice to get an MBA versus just be heads down sales gorilla, sales killer.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that one was, I will say that wasn't entirely planned. It was definitely an open door and an opportunity. And I started to get into more business, and I had the vigor, the energy, the open door, and it wouldn't not serve me. So I decided to do it. And it was definitely one of the best decisions I've made to pursue my MBA.
Yeah, it's helped in sales to understand the business in general, the business acumen.
Yes, absolutely. And I was doing my MBA while still working. So it was definitely a stretch, and I'm very grateful to be done with that season. But I could say it definitely helped me understand the different business contexts and constructs that I wasn't getting before. Of course, you can get informed by your clients, but really understanding a little bit more detail regarding buying cycle, margins, actual economics that could relate to my deals. And it also got me more comfortable quantitatively and mathematically than I was before.
Yeah, because like a psychology degree is great on the people side, but how a business is structured and organized and run. So you got the political side and the logistics, operational side.
Yes, and that's a lot to consider. And understanding the operations and logistics lends itself to making a better business case analysis for my solutions that ultimately I'm providing, because now I'm understanding, hey, operational savings is a pretty big driver, actually. And let me show you how that happens.
Right. Because people probably don't say, they probably do say, I need this, I want this, I can afford it, but can I get it purchased?
That's the other portion now.
Right.
How do I get this? How do I get this purchase? Like, the numbers look great. The ROI analysis is reasonably compelling. Okay. But how do I push this over the line becomes the next question. And that's where I think some of the discussion around whether sales is an art or a science maybe also comes into play, because from that point, the numbers are there for you. But then what does it take to mature this deal, move it through your pipeline? I would even say doing some massaging around your contacts to make this real for them.
And what do you think differentiates you from other salespeople?
I would say for myself, it's because I am really compassionate as a salesperson. I lead with compassion and my actual self. And that is something I arrived at over the last year or so, because I was trying to fit a mold of some of what I've seen. And equally, it was like the wrong size shoe, And then for me, when I finally did the work of myself and what me as a person makes me, what people gravitate towards as a person and leading with it, I would think, and the time of COVID has made it easier to be yourself, truly. But me being compassionate, me caring is fine. I don't have to keep an entire poker face here. You know what I'm saying? I can truly care about my client's best interests and equally be a personality type here. And
Yeah,
yeah,
because I think a lot of sales reps put on the sales voice,
precisely.
right?
Yep, yep, yep.
And do the sales talk
It's
and
like the gear shift.
the sales actions, and you get put in the rep zone. If you
Mm-hmm.
act like a rep, people treat you like a rep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and you don't want to be treated like a rep
Right.
because then it's
Right.
transactional. I'll let you know when I
Exactly.
need something.
Right. And that doesn't serve anybody. So
No.
you have to, just as a perception, yes, you're a person, don't put on the sales voice, but also, are you looking to be an advisor in this scenario? Are you looking to, exchange information on both ends because you're coming in with a business I don't understand. I don't work there 40 hours a week. Okay. I am supposed to be an expert on my solution for the most part, but equally, for me to serve you well, I have to become an expert in a degree on your business. And that's where I'm going to rely on you to exchange that information. I trust you're giving me what's true of your business, pain points and all. You trust I'm giving you the solutions that make most sense for the pain points.
Yeah. And that's how you build up both rapport, which turns into trust.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Where you're
Yeah,
showing more interest in them than the transaction.
absolutely. And no one wants to just feel like they're being sold to. Like you want the ultimate outcome, but no one wants to feel like a sale or they're being sold.
Right. Because you need many different conversations. And when they
Yeah,
see your caller ID come up or your email come through, you want them to open and read it,
very true. Very
not just
true.
because they have to, but because they want to.
Right. Right. Like what is going to impel them to see my name in their inbox and pick that over another vendor at the
Yeah.
moment, or have hopefully not have the adverse reaction of I don't want to talk to Gerlin right now. That could wait 10 days. That could
I,
wait tomorrow.
right. I know what she wants. She wants an update. She wants to know
Right.
where it is. I owed her this, but I didn't do it. I don't want to
Right.
tell her.
Right. Like I'm just going to avoid her as long as possible. But I don't even think it's intentional in that way. But you would hope they would want to hear from you.
Right. Because if you keep it about them, their job, their
Yeah.
company, their role,
Hmm.
you know this from psychology, who's the favorite topic in the room, right?
Yep. It's very
It's
true.
not you, it's them,
It's
right?
definitely, it is so not me.
Right. They're paying $200 an hour to talk about them.
Right. And how does that make you feel?
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, we're kind of like deal therapists and
Sure.
and trying to get to the real reason why, the why behind the why.
Right. And that's something, if I could talk about that, I remember in school we learned about presenting problems when I was doing psychology. And it's what your clients come in with that is their issue, a presenting problem. And I've taken that same concept and really apply that to my sales career and my experience with clients because they will come in with some type of presenting problem. Like we have this issue, whatever that is. But it's your job as the actual advisor here to peel back those layers of the pain. Is this truly, is this like just a surface paper cut? Are we showing a little bit more skin here? Are we actually looking into a whole amputation? Like what degree are we getting into? But you have to take what they give you and allow that, but then you have to peel back in discovery and your own analysis to start, or assessment rather.
Right. Because nobody goes in and says, I think I need an amputation.
Right. Who's going to volunteer for that one? No one wants that.
I think I need to get rid of this bum. They don't
Right.
say that. It's like, he
Why
doesn't
would
do the
they?
dishes. He doesn't listen to me. And that presenting problem is never the problem.
And there it is. It's just what is bringing you to the table for a discussion.
Yeah. And I think the other key thing is there that people don't like talking about the core problem.
Right. Right. But also there's an element of denial that it's even a problem.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's an overt denial either. I just think that it might not have been thought of in that way yet. And it
Right.
takes you to as you're peeling back to show, well, actually, this is really showing up because it was a lack of, there's a lack of attention here on labor. And what we can do is provide this, which will provide efficiency on this scale and also this scale. You know what I mean? Like you have to peel back and then offer, and then they can see objectively, oh, this was an issue I didn't really think about.
Yeah. And it is that hard thing because everybody thinks it's just the aspirin or the just work harder. It's like what I hear from sales leaders. Oh, they need to be more accountable. And I'm like, really? Do you think they would say that?
Right.
Brian, we're just a bunch of hooligans out here.
Like on the name tag.
Right. We need some more surveillance. Then we'll sell more. And it's like,
right.
No, there's something really a problem. And do you see a lot of reps being able to figure that out, or how long did it take you to figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, when it came to figuring out problems, I was very transactional to our earlier points. Yeah. I came in completely transactional, like, oh, this is great. I found the problem in 2 seconds. Great, let's move this deal down. And I was doing a disservice to my clients there. I mean, deals went through, but I admit in retrospect, they could have been much better furnished on my end because I got excited with, well, at least we're solving one of these problems, or competing that with, I don't want to do all of it either, because that could drag out the time of this. And they might decide when we drag this out, maybe I don't want this. So it was really an insecurity on my end as a rep. And also there's a degree of sometimes you just don't want to do that extra work. And the reality is it's extra work to get down into the core. Right.
Otherwise, it's just send me a proposal.
Right. You're a glorified order taker at that point.
And then it's like, what, 1 out of 10 will buy, and the 9 you spend, hey, just checking in, just this is my breakup email. Okay.
Oh, the breakup email. Right.
And I think if you can't get to the real problem, you don't have a deal.
Yes. And also what moves the problem is a compelling event. And we dismiss how fundamental a compelling event is, because I can see all day long up and down the street, this solution will do this for you. But if you don't see along the street that there's several potholes that are messing up your wheels and your axles and whatever, then this does nothing and you are not motivated. And because it's winter season, you are just now saying, oh yeah, this is a good time to actually look into my brakes and my wheels and everything else. Without a compelling event, you really don't have anything. And I've really cultivated, I would say, over the last year, this has been a great year for me to grow as a rep, but using and leveraging a compelling event and making sure there is one. And if I'm following up without bringing up a compelling event, not to incite fear per se, but to keep before us, we have these solutions in mind, and this is essentially what has been motivating that. So without inserting compelling event, I don't have much to stand on. I'm just going to be another person in your email.
Yep. And how do you bring that up when it's not now? Right? Yep. Because like in your analogy of the car, that there's the people that when they find out about it, they'll fix it. It's in the garage. Sure, it's a ton of money. It might not happen for another year. Let's just take care of it. And there's the other people, they'll wait until the tires popped.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Call the tow truck. It costs twice as much.
Right.
You're late for work.
More fees. Yeah. To answer that point, I mean, I think you're asking, how do you? I would use as an example, COVID. It's been a very interesting era where it has changed the buying cycle. It's changed our needs. It's changed how we've addressed sales. I would say in our industry, particularly, and for our solution, it actually acted as the compelling event we needed, because where we were talking to clients over months about the necessity to offer more chat solutions, branding options that will meet your clients where they are, now that they had to kind of go into some type of business contingencies from on-site staffing to agents and doing things from home. That's when they really, really saw it. But I had conversations that were in play and they were like, okay, girl, and I need you now, like whatever. But like this was an event that literally moved things along. In the case if COVID didn't happen and some of the deals that I had going, I think that becomes a matter of you can't escape timing. Whether you like it or not, you can't escape timing. But also you have to multi-layer your deal with multiple contacts because they have different perceptions of the timing of things, right?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because timing is one of those elements, because I'm sure your product makes sense, but
Right.
the why now hasn't been sold.
Yep. Yep. That's the other part. That is a real part. So it's you could come in at a very advantageous point where it's
Makes
October.
sense.
It's October. We're doing budget planning. This is a good time to get into budget before it's released into Q1, January, February. Nice to get ahead of those. But if you're having the conversation in the middle of the year, budget has been fairly fixed. What's going to put them over the line to find that budget right now?
Right. It's got to be something.
Has to be something good. But also you do water the well of relationships. And I think that is a difference on the account management side that I'm seeing versus straight hunter account executive roles, because I'm working with an existing client base.
Okay.
All right. So I am upselling you and I'm also aligning our business solutions with yours and your initiative. So it has to completely make sense for you. But ultimately, I'm not selling you a dream. You've bought into this already.
Right. You
So
know
I
the
don't have to,
buzz.
right. I don't have to give you the whole cha-cha-cha anymore. What I have to give you, and some of you may have been using the solution longer than I've even been here. So I have to kind of pull back and then come up to where you are and see, listen, I have data now to move the needle for you because I can look at your usage. I could look at a trend and I can say to move the needle, hey, we've been getting kind of close here. We might want to consider how we can alleviate here. Based on how you're trending, that may look like here. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So now I have some data to leverage to kind of motivate and kind of press that.
And what motivates you as a rep? Is it winning? Is it avoid losing? Is it the connection with people?
I would say it's twofold for me. I'm not the typical rep who's motivated by being in President's Club. That's not me. I'm motivated intrinsically by being the best that I can be for myself first. Secondly, as it relates, that's just the reality. And secondly, from my clients to come out of my experiences knowing that I haven't negotiated any more of myself and I have truly brought the best, offered the best that I can. So those are two things that motivate me as a rep.
Are you competing against yesterday's version of you, or the people around you, or the people in the industry, or your competitors, or all of that? Or
I think all of that does come into play, but what I look at firstly is myself. Am I better than I was even last quarter?
Yeah.
I won't say yesterday. I'd say last quarter because that's enough of a data set for me to go on from, my own activities, my outgoing and emails. And, even if my number for the quarter isn't where I would have liked it to be, if I can say I've taken more meetings and had better discovery sessions, I feel so much better about my growth at that point.
And how do you quantify that, or is it just intrinsic? Do you write something down? Do you grade yourself? Do you ask for feedback? What are the milestones that you perceive?
Yes. Because we are in a highly metricized profession, it's there.
You don't have to do it.
I don't have to work hard. That data is there.
Yeah.
But I rely on obviously the feedback that I can get, and I do a lot of intrinsic work for myself. And that must be the psychology in me, but I'm just very intrinsically motivated. So when I'm looking back on my month of deals, maybe I get to replay some of my calls, I can hear the difference in my voice of asking certain questions earlier, because it's not a fun feeling putting a deal to close loss and putting a reason for poor qualification, and knowing it was poor qualification. And I don't want any of those. I want, if it's going to be closed lost for any of those reasons, it's literally, hey, budget escaped us or timing wasn't it. And I could work with that because I could circle back. But knowing I off the bat did not ask enough questions, did not layer enough context, that is something that I try to learn from as quickly as possible because it hurts when you do.
And was it that you had happy years? You heard what you wanted to hear, or you needed to slow yourself down? Or
Happy ears. I definitely had happy ears.
yeah.
I had happy ears, and I definitely have fallen for the presenting problem because it was good. And it's like, oh, that would
Easy.
fit this
Yeah.
box. This is a check, check, check. I can move on. So I admit to having happy ears for sure.
And how did you slow yourself down and kind of eliminate that? Because it's a trap.
It is. Oh,
It's so easy to fall into.
It is such a trap. What I would have to do to slow down, and this is just also part of my practice, is with clients, if they decide they want to talk to you sometimes, even though they're existing, they're in the solution and they're using it. Some of the contacts don't use it every day. So they feel like they need a whole nother overview of product to have a discussion sometimes. And I pause them on that and have a discussion first. And I don't hide that I'm going to have the discussion first. Like they'll say, Gerlin, we just need an overview of the platform. And I'll say, Mr. Client, I think that's wonderful. But before we do so, let's just meet to make sure we're on the same page about some of what you're looking for and how we can service you and train you on some of the offerings that we have within your plan already. Because I'm not coming off the bat saying I'm just trying to upsell you. What can we do within your plan? But also to let you know, here's what we also have. So I'm just make sure I pump the brakes with them too. Because it'd be great to go into a demo, but I've learned the importance of curating that time so that it makes sense.
Right, because the demo kind of eats up the time and it's the focus is on the product, not the problem.
Exactly. But if you do your discovery right, your demo will focus around their problem as well as the solution.
Yeah, because a demo really should be a conversation too.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times they don't know what to say. So it's our job to kind of pull it out of them.
Right.
Look for symptoms, find, because when we ask them, they might think it's just a lot of work. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what we need.
Right. And it's okay. And I think if you're coming humbly and saying, I don't know all those things, instead of just coming in with my doctor's coat and just starting to write a prescription off the bat here, like, we don't know. So I come in and try to lead with humility. One, because you've been a client longer than maybe I've even been an employee. And two, like, I don't know what I don't know. And I hope we can have a conversation so that we both can know more.
Yeah. And what do you think your biggest epiphany as a rep has been, kind of a tipping point where you went from good to great?
Good question. I would say good to great for me happened intrinsically for sure. But that moment for me was when I realized having the right conversations early will always serve you in the end. So every time I've avoided or went into the transactional mindset to start, that was a disservice to myself and to the client. And for me, I got better as a rep when I came in just ready to have the hard conversation early with my clients.
And what gave you the confidence and the initiative to do that versus falling back on the checklist?
Enough of those closed lost deals. Enough of those. And I was like,
you didn't want to waste your time.
I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I've already done over 5 touch points with this client. We've done multiple demos for us to still be at closed lost. And some of it's situational. I get it. But there's also some fundamentals wrong here. And that for me was where I went back to address it. Because I look at it as a preservation of everyone's time. Ultimately, I need to address this early to do this right.
And the motivation to win is great, but a lot of people hate wasting their time. I hate wasting my time.
too. Me too.
Right. And it just, being busy does nothing for me.
No,
If
it's a
you're
lot
not,
of buzzing.
right. If you're on a treadmill, it's like you're not getting a good workout. There's no reason to be on the treadmill.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
It's like,
It
what are the
looks,
calories here?
yeah, it looks good on the dashboard maybe, or, the manager loves the hustle, but
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. That doesn't serve anyone, just being busy. And you know the difference as a rep when you're just being busy versus you're having
Right.
quality
Right.
opportunities and conversations.
Right. Because which was harder? Being busy is pretty easy. Hard is asking hard questions, standing your ground, trying to build that rapport and the
Hmm.
deep questions before you go through the checkbox and sending a proposal that will never get opened.
That too. But you know what's hard about it? It's the fact that it's going to require more prep,
Yes.
which it really does. It
You have to
requires
think.
me,
You have
you
to
got to
do the
think,
work.
and you have to do a deep dive on the brand, your
Yeah.
clients, before even coming to the table. Not that you're going to be presumptuous in the conversation to say, well, I know you guys do this and you offer this, but we said earlier, they like it to be about them. And you're going to have to show you did some research and you
Why
earned your
it's
spot at the table,
how it's about them.
how it's about them. And not just because they pay us some ARR for the year, they're existing already, but we have to show that continual interest in their
Yes.
business and them thriving and their ultimate success as a client. So that also means there is a negotiation, in a sense, as a rep for me in account management, between fully serving my clients' best needs and the success and taking a seat for myself on um, additional solutions that would be wonderful dollars, but wouldn't serve them well. It would be
Yeah.
too much too soon. And that has been something I've had to temper myself with over the last, I would say the last half of a year. And to Larry Levine's point about having commission breath, like they can spot that a mile away. And you
Well,
can.
right. Because in the same way they want to talk about themselves, when you're self-serving, the
Mhm.
flag goes up immediately
Right.
because they're looking for it.
They're expecting you to do that.
They're expecting it.
They're expecting you to do that. So for you to temper yourself as a rep and not be someone who is just solution pounding,
Right.
because although all things can make sense, it's not expedient for your
Right.
client to do them. And that's where, whenever I offer a client a phased approach to an implementation or to a solution delivery, I find that they appreciate that the most because I'm showing them here is a full journey that we can do probably and
Yeah.
in the best case scenario. But I know that's too much for you right now.
There you
Maybe
go.
monetarily, but also like in bandwidth, probably too much. So
Yeah.
let's talk phase 1 and 2. And that's all we'll look at for now. We can circle back for phase 3 and 4. Here's a tentative timeline. And we can agree on this if all things go well. But let's just focus on 1 and 2, because that will be the biggest, that'll be the lowest lift, biggest impact
Yep.
for you.
Cool. Hey, it's been a fun conversation. Where can people go to connect and follow you?
Yes, you can come find me on LinkedIn, Girl and Gersey. I'm very friendly on there. Please just drop a connect. I will be happy to talk with you on there.
Isn't it great to hear from other great sales reps? How they develop, how they get interested and build their skills up and learn from that. Talking with other people, having a conversation with another human being about what they care about. That's kind of what selling is. Too many of us say, well, I don't want to make friends. I've got enough friends. Yeah? Well, how's you doing against your quota? Because when people make the decision to talk with you, to converse with you, to meet with you in some form or another, they're asking themselves, do I want to do this? Do I have to do this? That's what's going through their mind. And if you stay at the transactional level, meaning I bring value to you, you buy product from me, that's a website. That's not selling. That's order taking. That is processing and managing an account. And if you can get away with that and that's all you want to do, then you're happy. But if you want to do better, if you want to go at the very top of selling, you have to be able to build conversations with strangers and even build conversations with people you know that turn into conversations about what you care about, what you both care about, and how you can help each other. It's not a pitch. A pitch is a commercial. A pitch is, here's my amazing thing, here's what it's done for other people, it can do it for you. And if the person's in market, that does work. But it only works in advertising, because that's what it is. You're advertising if that's what you're doing. You're not selling. That's advertising. You may be doing it one-to-one verbally. It's expensive advertising. Think about it. You're probably spending $50 for each one of those things when you finally get connected live on talking to each other. You're spending $50 to give them that pitch. How effective it is. The stats out there are like 1 to 3%. That's not a good ROI, nor is it fun. The number one thing I run into when I meet with clients who are trying to set up sales development teams or even trying to get into new accounts is the burnout. People don't like getting rejected all day, every day. Go figure. It turns into what psychologists call learned helplessness. They hide. They will do almost anything but what they have to. They will give the appearance of doing it and hope that they can buy themselves enough time that something will hit them on the head. That's no way to go through life. I've certainly been through those boiler room things where you do a all-day call blitz. I go, oh, that's fun. But the best sales reps know how to start where the other person is and build it up. Now, if you could document this, if you could come up with your systematic way, now it has to be customized. It's not 16 touches in 16 days. That's what some blogger or some burnt out sales ops or enablement person came up by reading someone else's blog, or what they found from 2004 when they worked at a big company in the tornado. That's probably not your situation. We have to build those conversations. And start the conversation, get the meeting, has been a passion project for almost 10 years. I developed it for myself and my own business. And then my clients were asking me to teach it to them. And then it became an on-site course. The problem with an on-site course is you only get a day or two. And then people know it, but don't apply it, or they apply it what they remember, or they cut and paste. And that doesn't turn out as good. You have to really embrace it as a selling skill, much like you would any other skill in your life. Think about any other thing any game you play, any arts or crafts or sports. It's all a performance. It's all how well you do it, not just that you know how to do it. We all know how to cook. You take food, you add heat, you put a spice on it, and you put it on a plate. Doesn't taste good. You have to really practice and putting it all together in a way that is delicious. And that's what we do with Start the Conversation, Get the Meeting. Now you get access to it for a year. People say, well, how long does it take to learn it? Well, to become good at it, you'll become okay at it in 3 months. Your calendar will start to fill up. In 6 months, if you apply it and you stick with it and you develop it like a skill, you'll have a full calendar. After a year, you'll be able to pretty much go after anything that you want. And you might even, what I do is I go after what I want until I find out I don't want it. It's not a match for whatever reason. But I'm talking to them. I'm determining if it's a match or not. Maybe the timing's too soon or it's too late, but I'm having a conversation with them. And that's what selling is. It's not wondering if they need what I have. I can tell if they can afford it. I can tell what they're doing already. I talk to them about what they care about, and they converse with me. Isn't that what you want your day to be? prioritizing on the things that are going to close for you, that are most likely going to be in the need of what you do. Wouldn't that be a great use of time? So that's why I give access to it for a year. And it's a course that you purchase. It's not a subscription. It's not for tourists. It's not for dabblers. I got 10 years of dabbling content out there. You can dabble as long as you want. This is a curated, step-by-step, community-based, case study-based course. Has one-on-ones, 30-minute Zoom calls with me. Has 60-minute office hours every other Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. Everything's recorded and put back in the course. So it's a compounding network effect. With each person that joins the course becomes more valuable. But you can't just take the course. You have to apply the course. So by applying it, that's where the magic happens. You got to apply it slowly so that you become good at it and don't give up. And assume that you just got to do it a little bit better. Slow down a little bit, become a little bit more about them, and magic happens. So if you don't have faith in that, I understand. Don't take it. If you can't afford it, don't take it. If you're lazy, don't take it. You got to do some work. This is not a cadence-based hit the button and it works. You can use it that way, and some people have enough success with it that they do use it that way. But the people who really embrace it and show up for office hours, ask great questions, share success stories, share fails, contrast the two, those are the people that really take it to the next level. The people who just, I watched the videos, nothing happened. Well, what'd you do? I don't know. I did what you said. Can you show your work? So we can, wow, it kind of looked like this. No, you got to embrace it. You got to say like, okay, I want to become good at it. Because if you become good at it, you're going to make a lot. How can you not make more money? Because if you've got inbound, great, work your inbound. That's definitely a priority. I always prioritize things based off existing customer, then inbound, and then outbound. But today what I'm hearing is a few customers, inbound sucks. You know, when you do have it, it's not really inbound. It's really just contacts. There's no real demand or in-market requirement or recognition of the problem that you solve. It's just a contact that wanted an ebook or a giveaway that you were giving away. That's not real intent. You might have brand recognition from that, but you don't have real curiosity or interest. Becoming good at it. And if you don't think it's worth it, don't do it. But I need to make it clear, and I do it on the website. You can pay all at once. Either way, you have access to it for or you can do the 12 monthly payment plan. But it's not a subscription where you're like, I'll try it and see if I like it. You can, but it's 12 monthly payments. So make sure it is something that you want to do. You want to become better at it. And it's the type of thing that you can embrace because there's marginal handholding. There's the cadences of the office hours to keep the momentum going. There's tons of it recorded in there. There's more examples, case studies than any other course out there. And it's much more like a mastermind about getting a meeting. Because I break it down into simple element components so that your style and your market can fit into them and you can fit into it. And when you hear the success stories, when people go from, pounding the phones all day to like talking to people all day, that's where the magic happens. That's where selling begins. So check it out at b2brevenue.com. There's a frequently asked questions video that I put the link in the show notes, which is just swipe up on your smartphone. You'll see it, or tap the artwork. It's also on the YouTube channel. Check it through there. If I didn't answer all your questions, you can email me. Emails in the show notes as well. We'll see you next time. Make sure you're telling somebody about the show. Hey, do you like tips and tricks? I've got the Sales Questions, Brutally Honest Answers show. I'm sure you're going to love it. If you're a sales leader, check out the Sales Leadership show. If you want to hear what the best CEOs and leaders are doing out there, check out the B2B Revenue Leadership show. I got enough shows. I can't stand it. If you see my content fly by on LinkedIn, give it a little like, a little comment, a little share. I'd appreciate that. As one rep to another. Okay, we'll see you next time.